What's up, you sexy, sexy horror fans? We love you here at the Lassercast, where me and my good friend Danny Torkel, Dr. Zayas God, talk about horror movies and streaming shows. Joining us, as he has for the last 5 episodes of Alien Earth, is my other very good friend, Mr. Brian Coors Hair over there. Brian, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Guys, Danny just finished watching episode 6 of Alien Earth, which is entitled The Fly. And Danny, what are your thoughts after watching Noah Hawley's FX Alien show?
So I'll start off by being ever so slightly negative, maybe my least favorite episode so far. That being said, the standard of this show is so high that for me, my least favorite episode is still a really, really good episode. Something you said, Pete, I think you did a Pete on the Street last week about stupidity and characters acting stupid. And I think that got to me a little bit in this episode. There were a few character beats, and there's one character in particular that I'm kind of, I wouldn't say I was in love with the character, but I'm definitely falling out of love with this character. And I think this character is becoming more annoying than it is good. I'll just come right out and say it. It's Hermit, the brother. I think he's super freaking annoying. I think him skulking around the island, being as fucking obvious as humanly possible. I'm trying to rescue my sister and escape from this island, but don't tell anybody. Like, he literally gets called out on it by certain characters in this episode. And I just think, I don't know, and maybe it's just me, his voice, the actor's voice kind of irks me a little bit.
Yep.
So I was noticing that I thought some of the Lost Boys were acting in a way, like, I thought that the whole scene with the flies, I guess killing Isaac or Toodles, or I didn't know his name was Toodles, but now I thought it was Smee,
No,
or is Smee the other?
he's the other guy. The
Oh,
one
okay, so
that's really young.
yeah, this is I like Toodles, aka Isaac. I thought that whole scene of him like running to feed the aliens and then locking himself in was a little kind of ridiculous given everything we've seen so far.
Yeah.
But quibbles aside, I really enjoyed the rest of this episode. And I love there are a few scenes in this episode where I just spent 2 minutes complaining. There's a few scenes in this episode that I would put right at the top of the best scenes in this show so far. Namely, the one I texted you about earlier, the super fucking tense elevator scene between Timothy Oliphant and Babu Sise, Kirsch and Morrow. You have an android and a cyborg, I believe, right? It's like and it's just like they are quietly and peacefully going at each other in that elevator with some of the most intense dialogue that I've heard on this show, and I love that scene. And I loved everything. Again, Pete, your Pete on the Streets are hitting it right out of the ballpark because you did one on Timothy Oliphant. What do we love about Timothy Oliphant? He does so much in this episode, saying barely anything. Just listening into conversations, watching things on video screens. He's so expressive as an android character that I fucking love him. And so yeah, not my favorite episode, but definitely had some super high points.
Yes. Now, see, Brian, this is what it's like to record with Danny, because he'll talk and then he'll say 6 different points, and you're like, which fucking one do I respond to, right?
Yeah.
So let's break it down piece by piece. Brian, first off, I want to know what you thought about the brother. What's your overall thoughts about the brother?
Okay,
Because I want to talk about the brother.
I do agree that I I am finding him slightly more annoying, and he's being very stupidly oblivious about what he's doing. I also think that his place on the island is kind of weird. Like, I don't understand why they're allowing him to just kind of roam free and do whatever on this place here. And I think one of the reasons why I find him slightly annoying, which maybe is too strong of a word for me, but I felt like his accent was showing through.
Yep. Yes.
Or not showing through, or his American accent was kind of failing him rather than British accent coming through. But I felt that was very noticeable this episode, and I didn't notice it before.
Yeah. Yeah. When he's walking with the other two troops.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like he sounds like he's Irish or something. He's like, what are we gonna do about it? You know, like what? But
y'all have a boat.
Right. But you bring up a really good point, Danny, and Brian, you kind of continued it too. I think that with horror movies in general, you need to have characters making stupid decisions in order to advance the plot. Just something like really thought out with like really intelligent design. That's when you can make things make sense without people making poor choices. But it seems like, especially in this franchise, even in the very first Alien movie, there's poor choices that are made, right? Just to go down to the derelict ship, like look right at the fucking egg, like up close, like that. And then like everything they do after that, there's poor decisions made. I think that like Covenant and Prometheus, that's one of the main complaints people have about those two movies, is like just the silly decisions that people make. With this show, this episode, I agree with you, Danny. It does feel like, there were some stupid decisions made. One other thing that kind of adds to that is, even though this is one of the 5 most fucking powerful people in the universe, it feels like there's barely anyone around Boy Cavalier. It feels like there's like 10 people on this island, and half of them are hybrid kids. Do you guys get that vibe too?
Yeah, but it's also, seems to be a remote island, and it's not to like one of the cities is corporation owns or anything like that. So I figured that maybe there isn't as high of a need for security. Although that's also kind of stupid, because they're dealing with crazy alien life forms and shit, and all they did was hire 2 extra guards. Like,
so to that point, being the only person who, I believe, of the 3 of us who records this off of FX and watches it on DVR, and thus gets the next week on Alien Earth. Right. Next week, Yutani sieges the island. Like, the island is completely under siege from her, I guess, mercenaries who are trying to get back the alien organisms. And Boy Cavalier is seen in... What the hell? Is there an alien going? I hear like alien sounds.
A modem going off or something?
I don't know. I think maybe Wendy is trying to communicate with the xenomorph.
Oh yes.
They do show in like the coming, on the sneak preview, that Boy Cavalier is a little perplexed by the oncoming assault on Neverland. Almost to a point where you feel like it's something he could have never possibly imagined, and now it's actually happening.
Wait, the people who stole on the island, those dudes with the cool red armor from like her office?
No, they kind of just look like generic soldiers in like dark gear.
I wanted to see that highly impractical, like weird sci-fi samurai armor that those guys were rocking.
Yeah. Like the what is it, Snoke's room in Last Jedi?
No, they had these like really big shoulder pads, and I'm like, why? Why is that? How is that helpful?
Yeah. No, I know. I was thinking though that if they were gonna assault the island, I thought they would be like the Space Marines from Aliens. That's what I thought. Like, isn't that like Weyland Yutani?
Yeah, good point.
I mean, it's just a preview.
The Marines or the soldiers that are in Boy Cavalier's company, which is what, like Prodigy or whatever, yes. They look kind of similar to Space Marines, but there's slight differences. So I was thinking that they were going to be like even more like the aliens, Space Marines at that point.
I mean,
But
wait,
go ahead.
this is a question though. The Marines in Aliens, I mean, the
Mhm.
Colonial Marines, like, were they affiliated with one of these corporations or something? I always
I
got the
think-
vibe that it was like a government army sort of thing.
I think, I mean, I took it as they worked for Wayland Yutani as well. Like they were just Wayland Yutani's military. That might not have been the case in James Cameron's script, but like this show definitely makes it like there's only 5 fucking powers in the universe, and they're all
Yeah.
corporations. So I take it like the Space Marines are Wayland Yutani's military.
Okay.
I don't know. So, Brian, you brought up fucking Wendy and her little fucking clicking at the alien, like that the whole fucking time. Do you guys think that that's silly, or do you think that's cool? What do you think about that?
No, I think it's cool, and Danny gets the credit for bringing that up actually. But I do think it's cool. I still do think we're gonna have a pet alien going on here, and I think I'm excited to see that.
Do you think that that is the full size of that alien because it was grown in a lung, or do you think it's gonna get bigger?
It already has gotten bigger by the end of the episode. I mean,
Yeah,
Okay,
they show it at the end when like all of the when the egg hatches and that like whole scene in the lab. They do show a couple scenes of the xenomorph, and at that point it looks like a full size xenomorph by the end.
Yeah.
At least the way they were shooting it. That fucking sheep though, just standing still, is so fucking creepy.
it is.
I know. Dude, let's just fucking get to the money shot right now, man. Let's just go right to that end. Because so much shit happens in that end. We'll backtrack. We'll cover the other details of the episode. But like just the chaos that happens in the last like 15 minutes of the show. Like, Danny, you wanna kind of describe everything that unfolds?
Well, you have Toodles / Isaac is feeding the animals. Feeding the animals in the zoo, right? He gets locked in. Now, is this a new species, or is this those gray blood sucking slugs become like they cocoon and become flies?
Yeah, I was confused about that. I thought the room he went into was actually the thing that like has like the things coming out of it, but it wasn't. So
Yeah.
I am thinking that is like a larger version of those bloodsuckers.
So he gets locked in that room. They fly down and they spray him with, or I don't know what they do to him, but he basically melts instantly. His face melts completely. And then, and this is something I predicted last week. We were talking about who which human is slightly going to get to, do as you did, Pete, like, hey, what's that, an egg?
Right.
And instead, they actually went the aliens route, where it's like, when Ripley and Newt wake up in the lab and they have to like fight off the face huggers. But yeah, so the guy, the scientist from the beginning, is fired. Like, his wife doesn't seem to care that her husband is A, fired, and B, off the island. Like, I assume they sleep there and live there on the island. So I guess like he got fired, they're divorced. Well, now he's gonna be dead, so it doesn't matter. But like that was like a scene of dialogue that I felt they needed to include that they didn't. But he shows up after communicating with Hermit or Joe that, here's how you get off the island on a boat. And then he notices that Toodles is offline. He finds the body, slightly takes that opportunity to pull out the egg. The egg opens. He gets face hugged in a really cool scene, because we've never actually seen somebody like fight off the face hugger or attempt, like, once it's on you, it's always just like it's on you, you're down, and now we just wait for the burst. And this was like a prolonged like fighting of it while it's on his face. He drops, slightly pulls him into the vent right before that fly that melted another one of the Lost Boys was about to come. So that lab, next week is got aliens free. Plus you have a fully grown xenomorph in there. Plus you have the eyeball shape. Plus, Brian, you mentioned it. We have that fucking monster that we have never really seen yet. We have this alien in a cocoon that has like a spidery hand that we've never seen anything more than that in 6 episodes. So I'm assuming whatever comes out of that is going to be friggin' insane. Because they're obviously holding it off for a moment later on.
Yeah, I agree.
I 1000% agree with that. Absolutely. I think that you guys are wrong though about the tick bugs. I think they're a separate bug than the flies. Because I'm pretty sure they say in like the 3rd episode that they're like, we have 5 specimens. So it's like xenomorph, eyeball, tick bugs. The tick bugs are like the ones that make the blood come out, right? The thing with the stalk that comes out like a hand, like Danny just said, and then the flies. I think that's right there, right?
You're right.
And yeah, one of the Pete on the Street questions I asked was, which one of those would you least want to be killed by, right? And a lot of people still said the xenomorph, but one woman referred to the eyeball as Eileen, and I kind of fucking love that. I kind of love thinking about it as a woman. But Brian, what did you think about that whole sequence where I don't even know what that guy's name is, the one who ends up getting the facehugger on his face? Well, we just keep calling him the husband because he's
scientist husband.
Scientist husband. Okay, so like, what did you think of that sequence? Like, when were you sure he was gonna get face hugged? As in,
the second he got fired and did something nice, he was dead.
There you go. All right.
That's it. Yeah. And we were talking previously in previous episodes how like when is shit gonna hit the fan, because we know that there needs to be a decent sized body count for the show to justify being a horror show.
Right.
And it was clear that one, if not both of those doctors were gonna something was gonna happen to them, because there's always the guy you want to see die, and there's always the innocent guy you don't want to see die, and there's those kind of things you look forward to in horror. And that just happened to be he's the guy trying to do good, the Good Samaritan, meeting his unfortunate demise.
Yeah. I actually absolutely loved that sequence where he shows Joe how to like free his sister. He's like, here, let's check their vitals. And he's like just typing things on the computer screen. He's like, do this, do that. I love that scene. And there's something about that guy's manner, like his voice, the way he talks, where he just seems innocent. He just seems like a good person. I think that's just the way that actor naturally is. And when I saw whatever the fuck he is, the Indian one, when he took him to Slightly, there you go. When he took him to the room, I was like, oh, god damn it. He's going to get the fucking face hugger on him. Danny, you said this thing about how it's like we've never seen a person fight one of them off. I think in Covenant, a guy actually does kind of rip it off his face, but it shows you how quick the alien impregnates you, because like that guy still had a chest burster come out at the very end. Usually what happens in these movies is the face hugger jumps on someone's face and then it cuts to the next scene. But this was this like long drawn out thing, and you could fucking hear the guy like moaning. You could hear all these weird kind of squishy alien noises. It was fucking horrible.
Aren't there instances where the facehugger actually like falls off and dies, but the chest burster is still implanted? Sort of. Isn't that how it usually goes?
The facehugger hurts the law.
Yeah. And that doctor was Arthur Sylvia.
Thank you. Good job, man. His wife is totally gonna fucking get killed by something.
I want her to get killed now after she's pulling that shit.
Well, yeah, it's not. It's like it's so fucked up because like if he stays on the island, he's gonna get shot too. They say that bald guy says that.
Yeah, if you're not gone by the end of the day, you're gonna get killed. Yeah.
Yeah. And see, that's not even the most fucked up thing the wife does in the episode too. There's this part where she wipes the memory of the other hybrid girl.
Yes. So these are some weird, stupid inconsistencies too. First of all, the fact that they would just let that doctor leave after all the shit he knows about this project. They were like, oh yeah, sure, just take a boat and you're good. Yeah, I don't buy that for a second. And then I understand that they needed to partially erase Nibs' memory to try to correct whatever fucking weird shit was going on that you're thought she was pregnant, but they didn't consider like informing anybody else of it or trying to hide it in some manner. Because like she wakes up and Wendy's there. And she's like, "Didn't you say you were pregnant?" And she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, didn't they account for doing that in some capacity? Shouldn't they have? I mean,
there are a couple things like that I picked up on where, like, I also thought about as far as like the memory wipe. Essie Davis's character, the scientist's wife, she talks about how, we knew this about her going in, that she was like, that she had like some issues when we chose her. So when the human kid, like the sick human child, has their consciousness transferred to the what is it called? The
not
hybrid.
Hybrid.
To the hybrid. It brings all of its mental health issues with it, but then you can erase those. So it almost seems like the whole thing feels pointless in the sense that why do you need this technological advancement of transferring the consciousness of children and human beings into these hybrid characters if you're going to bring their mental health issues with them, but then you could also just simply delete them? Because at some point you're going to delete so much that there's not going to be anything human left.
So I think what they did was they just deleted the most recent couple days or weeks, and then they turned down some setting for their like emotional reaction subroutines or some shit. And I think that's how they wanted to explain how to do it. We did learn from the first episode that they can only do this with children. I mean, this seems like a very dangerous technology here, and these are clearly all guinea pigs. Like this is like trial thing, and we don't care about these kids at all. We don't care about their mental issues. We don't care about anything because ultimately they are expendable in every capacity. And the point being is to be able to transfer anyone's brain into a hybrid body eventually.
Right. And that brings up a couple of points I wanted to talk about too. First off, my friend Billy made this really great comment. He was saying how it was such a great idea for them to have the idea of these hybrid children, because you can have like kids reacting to all this horror around them, but then they can't be like brutally murdered. Like they can't brutally murder children like the way they do in like Alien versus Predator Requiem. So I've always thought that was a really smart idea. I remember like them going to the crash site, and I was like, oh my God, these are children going to this nightmare scenario. But then the other point I wanted to bring up is in that amazing scene where Timothy Olyphant and Morrow are talking, there's all this talk about being obsolete, right? Like Morrow, like Timothy Olyphant kind of jabs at Morrow, kind of saying like, you're not fully a robot, so you're like kind of half. And then Morrow says, well, you're an obsolete, you're an old model, so like you don't even matter. I just love the idea. Like I think that just to kind of tie into what you were saying, Danny, I think that what they're implying with these hybrid kids is that the human mind has the capacity to keep growing and growing and learning more, whereas a machine is just programmed a certain way. And maybe you can upgrade a machine, but like with these human minds in these bodies, they have the potential. I think Timothy Olyphant says at one point to the brother in another fucking great scene of dialogue. What does he say? It's like an onion trying to take care of a star. Doesn't he say something like that to the brother when the brother implies he's going to take the sister? So like, I think the idea is that the human potential in a robot body is possibly the greatest combination you could have. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, that's the exact vibe I got from it. And it's funny watching that scene the first time. It took me a good minute or two to realize that wasn't Boy Cavalier. I don't know why.
What, the fucking brother?
Yeah. So that was like the opening scene or one of the opening scenes. And the first couple lines, I'm like, why is he being so like asked this many questions of shit he should know. I'm like, oh, I have the wrong actor. I completely was just oblivious.
Yes.
I did love in the elevator conversation how Morrow makes it. He's like, I love killing synthetic androids because you could just do all this damage to them, and then Kirsch's response is, oh, but then you don't get to hear like the squeals of pain. I thought that would be the only thing that to enjoy out of that. And I'm like, holy shit. And then like I start to think back to like the original Alien and like how Ash was like snapping, and when Ash finally loses it and the way he tries to like kill Ripley with like a magazine, like the weapon of choice was like, I'm going to kill you with paper. Because so that whole scene I thought was great.
See, Danny,
then-
I know you're going to jump to a different point, but I want to stay in this area for a second. You sexy, sexy man. I love your little transition you made there. I can tell you're hitting the gym, man. You're looking good. Like I love the idea of the androids always encouraging the alien carnage, because that's what we see in this episode too. Kirsch like clearly is aware that something is going wrong on the facility, and he's just like, "Yep, it's going to happen. We're allowing it." And it's like it makes you wonder: is this a theme in this franchise where it's like the androids always want the aliens to kill people? Like, what the fuck does that mean?
I wonder if there's that whole like Prime Directive thing with robots, how they can't hurt humans. So I wonder if they can't actually hurt a human, so they're going to use an alien to do it for them.
You took it. You literally it said everything I was just about to say. I was gonna bring up like the iRobot, paradox of like, we're not directive one is we're not allowed to harm humans, but like the directive, like you can't harm humans. The biggest threat to humans is other humans. So if we get rid of the humans who are causing all the damage, then the humans can, and it's that goes back to like that Prime Directive, like almost Isaac Asimov type of science fiction. And I totally can see that where like Kirsch is like, yeah, Boy Cavalier needs to go. And if these are the steps, I can't physically kill him because I'd be breaking my Prime Directive, but I can move the pieces on the chessboard so that the king gets taken without me doing it. I could totally see that happening, and you 100% know that Kirsch is completely aware. Like even that very last scene on the ship where Boy Cavalier's flying around, and he's like, "How's everything going?" And he's like, "Affirmative." Like, no, like there's a melty face Lost Boy. There's aliens loose in the lab, and you're just letting it all happen. There's a one of your scientists is face hugged and dragged through the vents, and you're just like, cool, we'll get back soon.
Yeah, I'd hate to do this, but it's like one of those like, actually, the Prime Directive is from Star Trek.
The thing that I said it.
Yeah, but like, the thing you're talking about with Asimov is the three laws, like I think it's like the three laws of robotics.
That's what I was thinking of, the three laws. Yeah.
Right. But you're absolutely right. I think you guys are very smart, and it's like, okay, well, maybe they just fucking resent and hate humans, and it's like, well, we'll let these other things kill the humans for us. I mean, do you think that that's the motivator? I think with Ash, his idea was to smuggle the alien onto the ship, and that's why they allow it to happen, to get to Weyland-Yutani. But then once we get to like the prequel stuff, like David definitely has his own kind of crazy, sinister machinations. I'm just trying to think of how many bad androids we have and how many good androids we have in the franchise. Like Bishop and the one from Alien Romulus are good.
That's it.
And then all the rest are fucking evil.
Well, maybe Walter.
Oh, Walter, yeah, that's right. And I guess Winona Ryder is good too, but she's like a smuggler or something.
Yeah, that's true.
We always forget Winona Ryder is one of them. Yes. Danny, I'm sorry, I cut you off before, and I knew you were going to make a different point too. What were you going to say?
Oh no, I was just gonna mention the scene between Boy Cavalier and Utani that
Yes.
precedes the elevator confrontation.
Yeah.
You have like the two bigwigs of two of the largest corporations, and like he kind of schools her like really badly in that meeting, and it I almost found it like weird that he would be able to get such an advantage over her. And it leads me to like wonder what like we know that Boy Cavalier is obviously responsible for the ship crashing because he paid like the guy last week. He was going to
Yeah.
pay the saboteur to take the ship down. So it's interesting that she like hasn't figured that out yet, and is so desperate. Like the way I thought she came across a little too desperate, where she's offering $100 billion. I almost felt like Doctor Evil was there at one point. I
Right.
want the xenomorph for $100 billion.
Right. 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 Right.
Yeah,
No, I actually. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
I'm gonna say you can tell that Boy Cavalier knew he had the upper hand by his body language in that whole scene there. He walks in, he puts his feet on the table. Then isn't he like sitting like almost like spread eagle after that or something? Like something really
What?
weird. Like he
Yes.
knew he walked in there knowing like I own this fucking conversation here. You have nothing.
Yeah.
So and I maybe hate it even more.
No, I see. That was a scene that actually kind of bothered me too, because I thought that was a little too over the top, where he's just sitting there like he's gonna get his fucking prostate checked or something,
Yeah.
and he just was like kind of too arrogant. I did like that they had this like moderator, and essentially it's like a moderator between these different corporations. They keep referring to the corporations as the five, and I feel like by the end of this show, it's just gonna be the four. Like I feel like Prodigy is gone by the end of this show. Um, but just to go back to what you were saying, Danny, too, like it seemed like he had too much of an upper hand because we've only known Wayland Yutani through this whole fucking franchise going back to 1979. Now in this, they introduced the idea that there's at least four other corporations. So for like Wayland Yutani to be in a place of weakness, that's where it felt weird because they're kind of like the dominant force in the whole rest of the franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
right.
we think that because of Aliens, which is what 70 years after Alien, and about 72 years after this. So
Oh,
imagine that whatever transpires in those 70 years is what puts them on top.
yeah. So this show is just 2 years before the first Alien.
Yeah, and it's unclear to me if that's 2 years before the Nostromo takes off or 2 years before the events that we see in the movie.
Oh, because that's a big deal too. Because they're in space for like a really fucking long time, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like did shit go wrong and then they send the Nostromo out to go get more aliens, or
Correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't the Alien starts with all of them in hypersleep? So
Yes.
my guess would be that they are already up in space and on a mission. And my guess is that however this show ends, it is going to lead to Yutani sending Ash a message of like, we need to go to LV 426. We need to find those eggs. You need to bring them back by any means necessary. And like kind of jump starting that first movie. Because I remember the opening scene of Alien is you kind of go around the ship and then you see the cryo chambers and Kane is the first one to wake up. Ironically, he's the John Hurt is the first character to like sit up, and then it like transitions right to like their breakfast.
Right.
So I'd be interested. I'm even more interested now to see if this show is able to do a um Rogue One where it like perfectly sets up that first movie, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that the last line of this show is not going to be hope, right? If they
No.
cut to the next promo, it's not going to be hope. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, we covered actually a lot of this episode. There's actually quite a bit to it. Is there anything else you guys think we should focus on?
The only thing I just wanted to mention is that after this, other than the brother and Wendy potentially escaping the island, I really have no idea what they could do for season 2 here. I feel like everyone's gonna die, and I just don't know. I don't believe they've been renewed yet, but I know Noah Hawley said he has ideas for where the story could go, but I cannot imagine what they could be.
Yeah.
I'll just say to that question, Pete. I don't think that Wendy wants to escape, and I
Right.
don't think she's going to allow her brother. I think she is fully committed to like her status as a lost boy and the original synth or hybrid. And I think that she is getting way too much, I don't want to say enjoyment, but she's like learning and she's getting way too much out of this relationship that she's developing with the xenomorph and the communication. And I think that means more to her than, running away with her brother in a world where we've seen once you're off this island, it's not a very forgiving place to live. So, like, why would you want to? So, I don't think she's going. I think she's going to be a main character. I think she's going to like reclaim her status as main character in the next couple episodes.
Yeah, I definitely agree that in the beginning of the episode, she even had the conversation with the brother saying, "What if I don't want to leave?" But there was some event that happened that I don't remember what it was. I don't know if she talked to the therapist lady. If that was this episode or was a different one or something she witnessed. I feel like there was like a look in her eye that's like, "Oh shit, maybe this isn't the place to be." So I do think that while I don't think they're going to escape the island to go live like a normal quote unquote life, I feel like that she is going to go along with getting out of this place.
Yeah.
And I also think all the Lost Boys are going to die. Like literally all of them are going to die.
She confronts the therapist in this episode, and she has this really great line where she's talking about how she doesn't necessarily want to be human because humans just kind of hurt and cut. She's relating to the alien specimens. Like she feels like they're innocent and they're being experimented on, and so she's mad at the humans for doing that. So she doesn't want to be human, you know.
Yeah,
so I think that's really
interesting. Because I don't think I said it, but I was fading in and out watching this. I've rewound a lot, so maybe I misconstrued or missed something completely.
Right. It's all good. But like one thing I wanted to point out to you guys too is that like Noah Hawley has 2 shows out there, right? He's got Legion, which I think you guys watched, and he's got Fargo, which I strongly recommend you guys watch as well. And Fargo, the show, is kind of like an anthology. It's all set in the same world, and there are characters that kind of overlap, but they're all set in different time periods in that area. And so it's like a different story, different cast every single time.
And obviously, you could do a lot with a character that doesn't age.
Right. That's what I'm kind of thinking is you could almost do it like an anthology where you're kind of jumping around time and stuff and doing different events, but maybe you still have like some androids that are still alive and stuff like that. Is Kirsch going to get killed by the end of this show?
I don't know. I feel well. I mean, clearly there has to be some kind of reckoning between Kirsch and Morrow. I don't know how that ends.
Yeah.
Part of me feels like Kirsch and Morrow are going to have that like classic moment of like they're fighting and almost like a Freddy versus Jason style fight. And then they get interrupted in the middle, like a door opens behind them and the fucking xenomorph is right there. And you're like, uh-oh.
Right.
I don't know. I love both of those characters. I think they're my 2 favorite characters on the show. So as long as they stick around till the end of the season, I'm fine.
Yeah. There's no way they're killing off Morrow before like the last episode. And then my last thing, unless you guys want to add anything else to this discussion, I was thinking about making this a Pete on the Street question, but we all are rooting for Boy Cavalier to die. It'll be the sort of just, this satisfying thing of having this, I guess, trillionaire die. Which creature is going to take him out?
Oh, my money's on the goat. Sheep, whatever it is. The eyeball
So like
sheep.
the eyeball? Okay.
Yeah,
Danny?
that's my money.
The thing, so I agree, but like I don't want him to be like eyeballed and then to like then spend the next 2 episodes walking around as Boy Cavalier with eyeball. I so because of that, I'm gonna go with the Carter Burke answer, and I'm gonna just say that it's a xenomorph, and it's him cowering away, just like Paul Reiser in Aliens, and except we probably see a little bit more of what we wanted to see then, and we see him taken out in glorious fashion. I do think the eyeball, they definitely preview that a little bit with like the way it was looking at him and like focusing on him almost with like a friggin' unnatural hatred. I also love that they are building this like alien feud between the eyeball and the xenomorph
Yes.
with the again super subtly, because neither it's not like they're talking to each other and like debating each other, but they're just like the way that the sheep is staring down the eggs and staring down the xenomorph, and it, that they're gonna get back to a fight at some point.
Yep. Yeah, it very much feels like a Godzilla thing where it's like Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan. Like that's what all these creatures kind of feel like, just on a smaller scale and much nastier.
Yeah.
Well, we covered a shit ton of stuff in this episode. I don't think there's more to add unless you guys. Can you think of anything else?
That's all I got.
That's all he's got. That's all she wrote. So, Brian, do you want to plug our other channel real quick?
Yes. Check out our other channel, Comic Books Transformed. We are currently covering Peacemaker Season 2, and we're enjoying a lot more, I think. And I think there's a lot of exciting things going on there, too. So if you like that, come check us out.
Beautiful. And then, Mr. Torkel, what's going on the Lassercast?
Well, we've really been doing the Alien Earth long reviews, but in terms of some short reviews, we have you doing your almost daily Pete on the Street question videos, which have gotten some good responses. I reviewed The Conjuring Last Rites in 60 seconds. Here's my 2-second review. Don't see it. I also reviewed the new Toxic Avenger, which was only out in limited release. Here's my super short review of that. Go fucking see it. And I have a short review of the original 1984 Troma Toxic Avenger, which I believe is still streaming on Shudder.
Nice. All right, yeah. So there's a lot to watch on both of our channels. Make sure you check them out. You can also check out my other channel, which is called Aether and ATX, where I talk about manifesting and all that kind of shit too. So, oh my God, there's so much fucking content. Make sure you subscribe to it all. Make sure you like it all. Otherwise, we're going to be like those flies in this episode, and we're going to get you with some white goo on your face. See you all real soon.